Uh,
Hey, investors in Wiscoria. Joe Gracielli, host for your Green Bay location here, and I'm here with Chris Hake, who's down in Madison, and he's actually going to be coming up here for round two, talking about storage, doing a deep dive in on that, which we had him in November, I believe, and it was a phenomenal presentation. Q&A is one of those things that could have gone quite a bit longer if we would have let it, and just super excited to dive in deeper on some of the stuff that he's been getting questions in offline here. And I'll give you some deets at the end, but Chris, go ahead and hit us with what you're going to be talking about.
yeah, I appreciate it, Joe. And yeah, when I was there in November, we had a great group. You had 60, 65 people in that room. And what came after that, and speaking of the other locations as well, is it had a lot of people asking a lot of questions. And they've been asking questions all through November, December, January, reaching out to me directly, which is great. But what I got was, we want more detail. Can you dig deeper? Because at the time I came out just to give you guys, a 10,000 foot view, and I did. And I think people are saying, what about the analysis? What about the numbers? And so I'm coming back in February, and I look forward to being in Green Bay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the very first deal that I ever did, and I'm going to kind of dissect that, because there's a lot of elements that a lot of people would run into if they were looking at their first property. And so, for those of you that don't have one, you're saying, "Man, I'd love to understand better, so I could get my first property." Here's what I'm planning to do: is to take that first project, which had all the elements, right? I had private money lenders in there, and I had the regular bank. I had to negotiate with the seller on what I was buying, because there was existing units, but there was also vacant land. And so I had an opportunity for value add. And so, how do I take that into account? How did I run the numbers to actually figure that out? And how have things changed from when I bought it to today? Because interest rates are different, the market's different. And so I'm going to talk about all that. And the big part is, I had a new construction project that became part of the existing project. So it had sprinkled of everything that people have questions about. And so I'm going to kind of pull the curtain back. I'm going to dig into the numbers. We're going to go through the analysis. I'm going to talk about the private money, because not only did I bring in private money and a bank at the same time, but about a year later, I paid off the private lender and brought in an equity partner. So we had a little bit of everything on this project, which I think will answer a lot of the questions people have. And so I'm excited to come back to Green Bay. I'm looking forward to being able to kind of dig below the surface and go, here's what I'm looking at, not only a couple years ago when I bought it, but today when I'm looking at properties, which this is the environment that you guys are going to be looking at if you're wanting to take this to the next level. So I'm hoping to give you, some good teachable moments and some nuggets you can walk away and do whatever you want to take the next step.
Heck yeah. And it sounds like, I mean, you're hitting everything from deal analysis to some construction stuff to raising some funds. I mean, you're going to hit a lot of stuff there. So even if someone's not interested in self storage specifically, they could probably take some of these concepts and apply them to whatever they're working on.
Absolutely. I mean, really, everything we're doing, whether it's apartments or single family, it's a numbers game, right? I mean, we've got to understand the numbers, and and the bank lending or private money or equity partner, all of that, you're going to be doing in any kind of business. I'm applying it to the conversation in February about self storage, but you can take those general principles and plug them in.
Awesome. Really looking forward to that. And yeah, the one thing that kind of jumps to mind when you're doing all that, you mentioned the struggles of financing right now. It's that whole that adage, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. I think right now is a good time to really get a lot of this down and go. But we're excited to dive into that. February 6th will be the first Tuesday of every month in Green Bay. Super excited to have you up here, Chris. And meeting will start at 7. We encourage you to get there a little bit early, folks. Do a little bit of networking before and definitely afterwards. Bring some questions, bring a friend. Let's have a little bit of fun, and let's really just dive into some real estate stuff and make some waves this year.
Yep, I look forward to be the last one out of the building. I'll answer all your questions. So show up, and we'll take care of it.
Awesome, Chris. Hey, thanks again, man. Look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, buddy. See you guys soon.